Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I want to talk about something that when people do something that is very rude, very self-centered, very, selfish, self-centered, some would say narcissistic, but it's toxic for a lot of people. And, but they think it's funny. Whatever it is, they think is funny that they do it. Or they don't care. It's just what they want to do at the moment. Now, I want to say that in this video, there will be a noise. And I'm going to do it on purpose. And then say what the person thinks or says after that noise. So fair warning. Okay, I'll start this one out by mentioning they're not all about people who do food deliveries or any kind of deliveries, but some of them are. Okay, one of them is, like an example would be how many people who have done deliveries, they probably have seen a message from the customer that says leave it at the door, like if they're delivering food for lunch. Okay, it says leave it at the door, do not knock or ring doorbell, baby is asleep. Very straightforward. You don't want to wake the baby. So you're not going to knock on the door, you're not going to ring the doorbell, you're not going to do anything to make some noise because their baby is asleep. Okay, many people know that, children are often at home, people are often at home sleeping. So don't go making noise. And that's not your home, that's their home, don't make the noise. But some people, they just don't see it that way. They see that this is the world, I can do whatever I want to do. They'll do that if they're delivering. They're not going to make the noise because they could lose their job. Some would. You would think that they would say, hey, I better not do this. Now, I actually had one where somehow the customer thought that I was supposed to read her mind. But I went to pick up, it was when I first started doing it, deliveries. And I went to get, I saw one that was for this pet store that I go to for my dogs. And I wasn't, I was new to it. I went to the pet store. There was nothing that told me that, nowhere told me that it was going to be a 50-pound bag of dog food. No. Okay. I had just been in the hospital. I was capable of doing some things, but lifting anything heavy was a no-no. Real heavy. And all I was doing was delivering, small items. If I had seen anything that said it's going to be 50 pounds, I would have said no. Okay. Well, I got the order, and the store, they put it in the back of my SUV. I still did not know it was 50 pounds. Okay, from what I remember. Anyway, went to the customer's house, and I went, oh my goodness, this is 50 pounds. Because it wasn't like a regular bag of dog food. It was something that they had at the store, a certain kind they made, or they had, they put in their own bags, something like this. And so I stood there forever trying to figure out, how am I going to do this? And the way their house was, there was no way I could get real close to the house because, I could have somehow gotten it out of the back of my SUV and just put it right there. Couldn't do it. So, you can see where this is going. So I called or texted the customer, and she came out, and she was, at some point, she finally just started, she picked it up herself and carried it. And I explained to her that they hadn't told me. And she goes, well, the thing is, it was in the middle of the day now, by the way. She said, you woke my husband up. She was younger than I. Okay, probably 10, 15 years. And I'm thinking to myself, there was nothing on there, absolutely nothing on there that said, do not ring doorbell, do not call, do not this, because you're going to wake my husband. Somehow I was supposed to know. But I apologized, explained the situation, and left. But she was just rude. So I mean, yeah, things are not perfect. But hey, I apologized. I was new to this, all that. But, okay. And the simple thing is, it wasn't her fault, and it wasn't my fault. It was neither fault, that they did not inform me. It wasn't her fault that they didn't inform me. It wasn't my fault they didn't inform me. So anyway, and that's something I can say, okay, I just said, okay, sorry, I didn't know, I wasn't aware. Leave it at that, And anyway, but the reason I'm saying all this is because I would not have known, and I wasn't making noise. Okay, but there are some people who they see this kind of thing, and then what do? Well, this was the reason I made notes I'm looking at here. But the reason I did it was because yesterday morning, it was early morning, so maybe around, breakfast, brunch, lunch, I don't know. But I was sitting here at my desk, that's where I am now, and all of a sudden, I heard it sounded like a little bit bigger than a motorcycle, whatever that would be, making a lot of like revving up noises. Okay, this is my home, and it sounded like it was in my driveway. Nobody should be in my driveway, and they shouldn't be revving up their motor. Okay, this is a nice, quiet neighborhood, but it has like two doors, 2 and 3 doors down, kids, a lot of young kids that would be probably home during that time, and their parents, they have a stay-at-home mom, each one does. So, and then there are other kids, and then there are elder people around here too. No matter what, nobody should be outside revving up their motors. That you can actually get ticketed for that. If it's in like a neighborhood, it doesn't have to be. Well, it depends on where you live, what they say, but it doesn't have, overall, it doesn't have to be at night. If it's a neighborhood, like I said, whatever the law is wherever you live, okay? And it could differ from one to the next, one state here in the United States to the next, one county, who knows? But still, you can, it depends, but you can get a ticket for that. And it would be your problem, your fault. Okay, but anyway, you certainly wouldn't do it like after dark. If you have kids or you have siblings and you grew up with, and the bedtime, it differs from family to family, of course, and age of child and all that. But I would say after 6 o'clock, somewhere around there and later, nobody should be outdoors revving up their motor. Or like one of my neighbors, her daughter was probably around age 30, and she would get in her, whatever she was driving at the time, I don't remember, but she would get in it and just fly down the road, and it would make such a such noise, from starting off, and even squeal her wheels. Okay, really, in a neighborhood with kids, to take off like that as it is, and when you can hit one of them. These are kids that would be out riding their bicycles and such, but just the noise itself was awful. Okay, this world is not all about you. But she just didn't see it. And that's one of the families in this neighborhood that thinks that they are the ones that everybody should follow their lead. That they are the family, the one who does everything right. Seriously. No, you don't. And I'm not following your lead. And no. But, but like I said, some people, they just do it because they feel like they want to. Doesn't matter. That's their problem. And then whenever they do get a ticket, I mean, I've seen different things. Like you can watch videos. When somebody gets a ticket, if I do something wrong, I admit to it myself. And some of these, they actually admit to it. They did wrong. But then they'll add something like, but other people do it and they don't get called. What kind of defense is that? It sounds like the way I've said it is like very childish. You did wrong. You deserve you get the consequences of the action. If you're caught, you're caught. You don't do it in the first place. Easy as can be. But anyway, I think people can, many people can see this. You go and you put your kids down or your grandkids down for their nap or for their, for the night, and somebody's going to be out there revving up their motor or playing their music real loud. That had happened here one time. It was a woman's employee. One of the neighbors, she was a horrible person too. She thought that she owned the road. And she'd sit out in her garage and watch people and make all kinds of noises if people dared to come outside of their house and do things, like get in their car or work on their lawn. She'd grumble and such. Yeah, thank goodness they moved. But I think anyway, people understand, this is not for yours. You don't own the road, okay? Now, there's another one that I want to mention, and this is the one that's going to have the noise. Okay, now here's another one. Yeah, that one was kind of like more than one mixed together. But this one is another one that's about people who do deliveries. Now, imagine somebody who has an attitude, that kind of attitude, and it's all about them, and they do what they want and all this stuff, and they think some of these things are funny, and they do them more. Okay, they do them whenever they want to. Now, like I said, there's going to be a noise. And just imagine that there is a food delivery person who's doing something like they're going to restaurants and they, wait in line and they get their food and go deliver the food for the customer. And they go deliver it. Now, while they're in the restaurant, say when they find one that, say the person, it's not that busy, there's a countertop that they go to, that this is where they pick it up. They pick up the food, and it says this is where you pick it up. So they go up there, and there's nobody up front. Maybe it's not that busy. The person just took a restroom break, whatever. They have bells in places like that. So, they just haven't gotten back there yet. To the countertop, the employee who works there. So the person who thinks these things are funny goes up to that countertop, and they do this whenever they feel like it. Maybe they're making videos and the look on somebody's face that works there, the employee or the customers or whatever, that's what they're wanting. They're wanting that thrill that they can do what they want and everybody else has to pay for it. But anyway, they go up to the counter and nobody's there. Okay, so they make this noise and then they say this. So it's going to be a noise and loud what they say. Okay. So they go up to that counter, nobody's there. They want to pick up the order, so they go like this, like that. And they say, I need help up here. I'm picking up an order. Real rude. But they're really thinking it's just funny. Okay, they really don't see it that way. They just think it's funny. Can you imagine the person who works there? How they're going to come out, how they're going to look. Or they may have just been standing, in the kitchen right there or something. Imagine the customers who are dining there, and they hear something this rude and that loud. I mean, how would you feel if you were in a restaurant and some delivery person came up and did that? You're eating. Would you say something? But this person is somebody who does need somebody to tell them, don't do that. What if they put it on video and people say, hey, don't do that. That's wrong. That gives delivery people a bad name. There's a bad reputation. There's one right now about delivery. It's been for a while, of people who deliver that they go into these restaurants and they have their phone, where they have their order, which one they're picking up, and they'll just, put their phone in their hand where the person working there can see the name on it. And they just kind of practically shove it in the employee's face. And there are employees that work at stores, they say, can I see the name on it? And I'll turn it around and show them. But I don't shove it in their face. You see, but there's a reputation that some drivers do that. But, you know, some of them, they don't care how they come off. Well, that reflects on all. You see, it's not just about you. You're the ones who are constantly blaming the customer on everything. I've been saying that for how many years now? The customer, you know, yeah, they're blaming the customer. Customer isn't giving me enough. Customer. And I've said this all along, all the way. You're blaming the wrong people. Customer doesn't owe us crap. Customer does not owe anybody anything. They're paying enough in fees and markup and all this kind of stuff. A fee for this, a fee for that. I think I've seen one of them had 3 different kinds of fees. And it was like just about equated to what the person was buying. So it doubled everything. You know? And they're going to have to put a tip, and they're responsible for how much you get paid too? No. I've said that for years now. And people should be thankful that the customer gave them a tip. Not entitled, because you're not entitled to a tip. Plain and simple. You're not. And anyway. Okay, and yes, I can understand in a way. I can understand the other side of it. People go to a restaurant, somebody delivers their food, they give them a tip. Sometimes you go into these restaurants and you're picking up food for yourself, and they'll hand you a receipt where you sign how much it is and what they want you to give them a tip to. You go to some places that you never had a tip before, and they're asking a fast food restaurant asking you to tip. No, I've never tipped before in 40, 50 years or whatever, you know, and it says tip. It's tip crazy. But yeah, I can understand that people expect, you know, hey, that they're going to a restaurant, but $1, $2, whatever, you know, but some people think, oh, they should be paying me $20. They should be paying me, you know, they bought this much food, you know, $100 worth of food. They should give me at least $20 or $30. They're just that entitled. They feel that entitled. No, you're not. You know, so anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.